Hello everyone, with Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Wednesday evening, November 8, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the dad's been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center's 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. We can see that as of 7 p.m. this evening, we don't have any new tropical cyclones that are expected during the next 7 days. However, if we continue to take a look at the next 7 days on the Euro and the GFS model, we do see all of those greens stepping into sections of the Central and Western Caribbean, including Jamaica, and we're only going to be looking at least the next 168 hours, that's the next 7 days, just like what the Hurricane Center would do. And we do see all of that increase in moisture, especially across the Southern and Western Caribbean, as indicated by the greens and even the darker shades of greens. And we can see on the key on the right, this is all that it represents, up to even at least 5 inches of rainfall that's expected. What does the GFS model show for the same time period? We do see the consensus that there's going to be an increase in moisture, but the GFS is still adamant that there's going to be some kind of broad area of low pressure that tries to develop across the southwestern Caribbean, maybe to the west or the southwest of Jamaica within the next 7 days. Either way, we don't see the consensus. We don't see the Euro model showing the same thing. What the Euro model is showing is all of the moisture that represents rainfall. GFS shows the moisture, but it shows a broad area of low pressure trying to get its act together, becoming a tropical storm or maybe a hurricane. We just have to wait to see exactly what unfolds. We know that consensus is very important when it comes to these models, and if we don't see both models showing the same thing as relates to cyclogenesis or storm development, then the chances of it actually happening are very much slim. But on the upside, we do see the moisture, if you consider that good news. Lots of moisture expected across the Central and Western Caribbean for the next 7 days, so sections of Jamaica could be affected, bringing about some amount of rainfall and even some cool temperatures. Let's take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can see that we have a cold front that stretches all the way from the North Atlantic all the way down to the northeast of the Caribbean. We can see that we still have that ridge of high pressure across the northeastern section of the North Atlantic, sending all of those easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean, not to mention another high pressure ridge to the north of the Caribbean that's maintaining that easterly flow. And we can also see the broken lines right here across portions of the Central Caribbean that represents a trough, and we can see the clouds associated with that trough even better right there to the south of Hispaniola. And we can also see lots of clouds right there across sections of the Leeward Islands from Puerto Rico eastward. And Jamaica is definitely going to be getting in on this troughy kind of weather, lots of cloud showers and thunderstorms as we progress into the weekend. It's definitely going to be wet, especially across eastern parishes in Jamaica. Alright, so we'll be talking more about the weather across the Caribbean later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Wednesday. It was stated that sections of northern and eastern Jamaica would receive rainfall on Wednesday morning, then affecting sections of some southern and western parishes in Jamaica during Wednesday afternoon. And we know northern parishes we're talking about Hannibal, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne's, Portland. Southern parishes we're talking about Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, St. Andrew, Kingston and St. Thomas. While eastern parishes we're talking about Kingston, St. Andrew, Portland, St. Thomas. Central parishes we're talking about St. Anne, St. Mary, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester. Western parishes we're talking about St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James and Trelawney. And what ended up happening? As early as 6:05 a.m. a post was made on our Twitter page, not only our Twitter page but our Facebook, Instagram and TikTok page. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you're following us there. So we can see the infrared satellite images were posted, and we saw those grays and whites that represent some clouds bring some amount of isolated showers to sections of some northern and eastern parishes this morning. Some of this spilling into sections of some southern parishes as well. So that indeed confirms the rainfall that was predicted. And even at about 9:05 a.m., we still had much of the same happening, especially across the north. That northeasterly flow brings some amount of overcast skies, isolated showers to especially sections of Portland, St. Mary, sections of St. Anne as well. And then in the afternoon now, at 4:45 p.m., another post is made highlighting the infrared satellite images, showing clouds still bringing some isolated thunderstorm activity to sections of some northern parishes in Jamaica, so definitely sections of St. Anne, St. Mary, sections of Portland, as well as sections of St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland got in on some amount of afternoon rainfall, even in sections of Manchester as well. And we even have confirmation from some of our commenters on our Facebook page. Tracy and Barkley stating, yes, Portland got the showers indeed. Eva Gray stating overcast skies. Shawnee Reynolds stating, yes, it's raining. And we do see that when we take a look at the visible satellite images right now, up until the point that the sun went down, we had more of an east-northeasterly flow of low-level clouds across the island. Then we had those cumulonimbus clouds being developed from those low-level clouds. Then we had those high cold cloud tops being blown off towards the southeast, just as predicted. And if we take a look at the latest Cuban Doppler radar images, we don't seem to have the latest. This is showing 3:40 p.m. so I guess the Cuban Doppler is glitching out at this time, but it does indeed confirm the rainfall that we saw today in northeastern Jamaica, southwestern Jamaica, as indicated by the greens and the yellows. Hopefully the Jamaican radar is fixed very soon, so we don't have to be dealing with the glitches that come with the Cuban Doppler radar. Alright, so let us take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website's accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours. So this does indeed paint a picture that yes, we had that rainfall across northern Jamaica, especially during the morning and even in the afternoon. Then majority of the afternoon rainfall was across sections of the southwest, so definitely sections of Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, just like what we saw on the satellite images and the Doppler radar images just now. Alright, so the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay and 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston. And by 4 a.m. on Thursday, the temperature should dip down to about 27 degrees Celsius, remaining 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, and dipping down to about 23 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Alright, so let us take a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow. We can see Jamaica is still embedded in some orange colors that represent even up to 3 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of November across Jamaica is about 88 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's about the same as 30 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 30 to 33 degrees Celsius at most for Thursday. Taking a look at the Saharan dust forecast, with the easterly flow coming back, we're going to be starting to get in on more of that moist air coming into Jamaica air. However, right now we can see that we have some yellows across the Jamaica air, and when we take a look at the key at the bottom, the yellows represents the dry or the lowest end of the scale in terms of dry air. Then we have the oranges, reds, and whites within those reds. Majority of the driest areas across the Gulf of Mexico, off the east coast of the United States, to the north of the Caribbean, across sections of the main development region, especially off the northwestern coast of Africa. As it relates to the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Thursday, we don't see much happening across Jamaica at that time at all. As it relates to the wave forecast, we do see that we're going to be having an increase in the amount of waves, some slight purples in there, so anywhere from 0.5 meter wave heights all the way up close to at least 2 meter wave heights. And that's due to the fact that the winds are going to be coming in from the east, and we even see some yellows in there that represent up to 25 knot winds. You can see the key at the bottom red, lots of greens that represent 15 to 20 knot winds. And then as usual, we're going to be having that air piling up wherever we have those darker shades of blues, wherever we have those least amount of winds. So definitely sections of some inland areas of some central and western parishes in Jamaica. And we know what usually happens. We have all of that air piling up, then we have all of those clouds becoming cumulonimbus clouds, and the upper level winds seem to be coming in from the west northwest for tomorrow by both the Euro and the GFS. So just like what we saw today with those high cold cloud tops being blown off towards the east southeast, whatever afternoon convection we have developing across central and western parishes as it usually happens is going to be blown off towards the same direction, bringing more overcast skies as well as isolated showers to sections of some southern parishes especially. And if we take a look at the actual rainfall forecast now by both the Euro and the GFS models, we can see the blues that represent rainfall definitely across the north coast, and this is valid for 5 a.m. Jamaica time, as well as eastern Jamaica. We do see some blues across those spots as well. So sections of maybe St. Mary, St. Anne, Portland, definitely St. Thomas going to be getting in on some early morning rainfall. Skipping ahead to about 10 a.m., we still see much of the same blues that represent rainfall across northern and eastern parishes, especially the east in Jamaica. Then skipping ahead to about 2 p.m., we're starting to see some of that rainfall spread into sections of some central and western parishes, especially the south. So that indeed confirms the rainfall. Definitely eastern, central and western parishes are going to be getting this rainfall on a Thursday afternoon, but definitely majority of the east is going to be getting it on the brunt of the rainfall, and we do see that being represented by the GFS model with the more colorful, or that represent the more colors that represent rainfall across eastern Jamaica. So definitely a section of St. Thomas and Portland, we do see the higher totals up to 0.33 of an inch of rainfall across sections of the east, and we don't see that on the Euro model. What we do see is the northeast getting the most, up to 0.3 of an inch of rainfall, and we know both of these maps are going all the way out up until 10 p.m. on Thursday. So yes, we're indeed grateful for the rainfall. We're in the month of November. We usually receive a decrease in the amount of rainfall, even although we're still in the rainy season. So we'll take all the rainfall that we can get before we head into the drier months from December to April. Alright, so that is it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we're starting to see all of the heavy clouds that we saw across Central America starting to die out. Still have some cloud cover and some isolated activity still taking place. So sections of Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador, sections of Panama, Costa Rica, definitely Colombia, Venezuela, Suriname, Guyana. But majority of the rainfall right now is focused across the central and northeastern Caribbean associated with these troughs. So definitely the waters to the south of Haiti and the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, Antigua and Barbuda, definitely getting in on some amount of heavy weather. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean right now, this does indeed confirm the rainfall that we just saw on the satellite images. So this is the latest satellite image that shows the time that we're recording right now, around 7:20 p.m. We do see a lot of rainfall still affecting sections of the eastern Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, as well as areas to the south of there. And if we take a look at the Barbados radar, we can see that even better. So definitely sections of Dominica, Martinique, sections of St. Lucia to get more rainfall tonight. We can see some isolated showers still affecting portions of Barbados as we speak, and more to come later on tonight, but not so much rainfall right now across Grenada, but maybe some isolated showers across St. Vincent, and we don't see much rainfall across Trinidad and Tobago either. Alright, so let us take a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images. We don't see much happening. Majority of the rainfall is where we just mentioned it, across sections of the northeastern Caribbean as well as sections of Suriname. As it relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see that majority of the Caribbean is embedded in some yellows, oranges that represent 1 to at least 3 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures, and that stretches all the way from the eastern to the western Caribbean. As it relates to the Sahara dust forecast, majority of the Caribbean should be in the clear for 2 p.m. on Thursday. Majority of the dust is still stretching all the way from Africa into portions of the main development region. As it relates to the wave forecast, we do see that majority of the Caribbean should be averaging anywhere from 0.5 meter all the way up to close to 2 meter wave height, and we do see the most purples right there to the southeast of Jamaica, to the south of Haiti, and that's because the high pressure gradient is going to be strongest across the central Caribbean. Look at those yellows that represent up to 25 knot winds, definitely are coming in from the east, so the winds could gust up to 25 knots tomorrow. Definitely some nice wind forecast in place. So although the temperature forecast is a bit high, the strong winds are gonna cool the temperatures down like what we are used to in the past. Alright, so let us take a look at the rainfall forecast. Now we do see that we still don't have much rain in the forecast for the Bahamas and Florida, not to mention central and western Cuba, or Mexico for that matter, the Yucatan Peninsula. But we do see now majority of the rainfall is still across sections of eastern Cuba, sections of the southern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, definitely sections of the Haiti and the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, sections of the US and British Virgin Islands. We can also see more in the way of isolated showers across sections of the eastern Caribbean, so definite sections of Antigua and Barbudas, St. Kitts, St. Martin, Guadeloupe, Dominica, sections of Martinique, sections of St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Trinidad and Tobago. And we can also see the consensus that is going to be raining across sections of Suriname, Guyana, Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, and even spilling into sections of southern Belize, not so much central and northern Belize at all. And we do see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus that this will happen. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.